Друзья, прошу прощения за задержку, у нас только что закончился селектор с правительством федеральным, но
I will say 119 from 6 countries, from Latin America to Japan. So the architects have presented their projects from minimalism to tourism projects. And what it means is that there is a great interest, the idea of designing and building unique projects in the Russian Arctic zone, in the Arctic, in Murmansk, is now a brand. It's a trendy thing. I think we're just in the beginning of our way. We have special climatic conditions. So, and it's obvious that creating comfortable living urban environment in the Arctic is especially challenging. And I'm happy to to see that this systemic work with our students is now being arranged. And I just passed, and the heart that was designed last year is already on the wall of the building. So these small, tasty, beautiful elements are important. It's important to make sure that our cities, our Arctic, is cozy and warm. And you can only do that through people's creativity and through initiative. So I welcome everyone. I believe that the competition has been a success. This is our first experience in involving international partners, and I'm especially happy that our students are an active part of this process. And we'll have a discussion today what we can offer to our students of the university so that they can uh, implement their ideas here in the Murmansk region. So, colleagues, so we move on to the presentation of the results of the international competition for the Coziness Valley park area. It has become one of the largest scale projects for the improvement of the region. Professionals and students from the whole world have developed the architectural concept for the park. They have faced a serious challenge of transforming an area into a landmark public space adapted to northern climate, and also identify main vectors of development of the area for the immediate future. The jury is made up of the architects of leading international architectural bureaus. So three winners have and five honorable mentions have been identified in each category of professionals and students. Today we have a chance to see some of the projects that have been submitted to the competition, and also congratulate the winners and finalists. But before we start, I would like to ask the participants who are connected via a video conference. I'll just remind you that you will have no more than 3 minutes. So in the students category, uh, In the students category, we had five five Rave Russia, UFA, and Depot Team Russia, Yekaterinburg, and the finalists and winners in the student category. Third place goes to Agustin José Senra Chavez from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Second place goes to Double AR, Upa State Petroleum Technological University, Ariadna Avsakhova and Arina Bravikova. And the first place in the student category goes to Experimental Studio Design and Space, Colombia, Bogota, DC, University of Los Andes, but in Colombia and Brazil, it's a deep. It's nighttime now, and we here today with us. We have a student team that took the second place in the competition. Please let us know why did you decide to participate in this competition. Well, we decided to participate because we were attracted by the concept or the context of this place, the Russian Arctic Murmansk. It was our first encounter with designing in these conditions, and this has stimulated us to make the projects. After reading the requirements of the competition, we realized it was important to maintain the natural heritage, and this is what we focused on. So we proposed to make the valley not only comfortable for the visitors, but also for the inhabitants, for the wildlife. And in order to do that, you need to develop the local ecosystem and keep the internal harmony and keep the vegetation and keep the wildlife, the birds that come there from different places. And also a bird walk or a bird path that we invented. So there's the birds houses for warming up the birds, and also the algae that would keep the local lake clean. And we didn't only focus on the wildlife, but also on the visitors. And the main task was to um, to focus on the mental and physical health of the visitors. Therefore, we looked at a greenhouse, a cinema, a polo circle ground, so that to offer some getaway to the visitors from the bustle of the city. So to have some visual and audio relaxation. We also propose to listen to the sound of the northern wind. So this is also part of our concept. And we also, in our landscaping elements, we try to emphasize the uniqueness of the Arctic and immerse the visitors into the nature of the cold Russian North through the interaction with the park. So in our park, we have lots of sites, lots of grounds, children's playgrounds, and this polar circle playground. There is a map of the starry sky with the real-time location of the stars. We also have a site where people can play with giant fish that are made of reprocessed glass bottles. And even though this is recycled material, it looks great, and the visitors can bring their waste, their material in, and make their contribution into making into the recycling and making a new object in the park. And this competition was an excellent opportunity for us to meet a new area, to meet the north. And now we really want even more to see the northern lights in reality, and we hope that we will be able to do that. Well, do come visit Thank you so much. Thank you. And now we move on to the professionals category. 5 honorable mentions. Design Space from Lithuania. STWM, Canada. Gutars, Mexico. Mayak Architects from St. Petersburg in Russia. And PM and Pravda Bureau, Russia, US, Ecuador. And the representatives of the latter multinational team are with us. Pablo Jonathan Pokmov-Bermeo and Nikita Tugarin. Good morning. What was the main idea that you wanted to convey in your project?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
And it's already a late night here. I'm in Los Angeles, and this is where I am developing our agency. Of course, I will tell you, thank you for the invitation to tell about our project, and special thanks to our team that was not fully listed in the application, but definitely all of them will be known. We participated in this contest, but also we were invited by our Murmansk friends, and they were sure that we will not fail them. And this Bureau Pravda, the agency, we worked with our friends, and within this contest work, such collaboration allows to distribute resources to the benefit of the result. And talking about the project itself, the main idea was that the real park is not just kiosks or cafes, but these are strolling out in the nature, watching birds and animals. And how do we achieve this? And in our project, we retain the natural, pristine park and explore its potential. We find it within the sustainable biological ecosystem, and we keep the natural zone in the center, and the perimeter, as we call urbanized perimeter, giving the central park to the nature, like I said. And talking about the routes, we based on the winter use of the park. It was great to know that people of Murmansk do not sit inside, but they like to walk outside to attend festivals and other events. And that's why in winter also the park becomes a giant skating rink. And talking about the kiosks, we decided to as Murmansk is today a panel urbanistic area with gray concrete and amazing terrain, and we use the concrete as the stone of our time. And if you look at the buildings, you see that the panels have their structure and texture, and we just used the soil as the molding form for concrete. And now I would like to give over to my friend Pablo, who will tell about the architecture of the project. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's great to take over with this story. We would like to also to touch upon the culture code that we were searching for our cultural and sacred code. And here we looked at Sami, the indigenous peoples of Murmansk, and fairy tales play a big role in the culture and interaction between human and the nature, and every object has some sacred meaning. Also, in Sami culture, ornaments and decorations are popular, in particular their national attire, just like I do in Ecuador. And if you look at our master plan, you will see that this story is very well read. Among these patches of green, there are also valleys and lawns with artifacts and artistic items scattered around the park. And that makes every location unique. And we expected each artistic item that created by Murmansk artists, and that will be not only an urbanistic project but also a cultural project engaging the local artists and specialists. And this magic effect from these spots is emphasized by lighting of landscape lights, and that will look great during the polar night, becoming scenography of the urbanistic life, this never-ending fairy tale. This is what we had to tell about the lyrics of our project, but we also wanted to uh, tell what we saw, like our team and other teams took into account the difficult technical aspects, such as the high voltage line, which is in the territory, also the heat pipeline, and we had to comply with all the normative requirements, as we did not uh, have all the requirements. We only considered the park items. Thanks a lot. Any questions to this team? We will be glad to take them. No questions. You gave a very detailed description of your project. Thanks a lot. And we are passing over to the final prize winners. And the third prize goes to Canada, JUB. The second prize, Architects, Russia, St. Petersburg. Elena Bogomaz is online from St. Petersburg. Elena, your project, including the greenhouse area for Murmansk, this is unique. Why did you come up with this idea?
Okay. Can you hear me? Yes, we can. Good morning, everyone. I'll say a few words about the greenhouse or conservatory. We already heard that these are very challenging climatic conditions, and we worked a lot with the vegetation, and we included this greenhouse in our project, in our design. And we were inspired by the greenhouse in the Kibine Mountains in the Murmansk region. You have the largest collection of plants that can survive north of the Arctic Circle, and it's even larger than in Norway. And everything that is planted in Murmansk, the apple trees and the lilac trees, they were developed there at that greenhouse. And we wanted to create a sort of a research or an educational place for the local inhabitants. We proposed that these greenhouse houses plants from central Russia, so that could be assimilated or acclimatized to the local conditions, and then could be planted in the park. So this is how we involve the locals, and this is how we saturate the park with new plants, and also for the greenhouse, for the ideas for the greenhouse, we were also inspired by the Sami. It's a reference to their storage site in terms of shape. It's also a symbol of the people, because the Sami, they live not only in Russia, they also live in Russia, in Finland and Norway. And it's a symbol of international friendship and preserving the traditions. Also, want to say a few words about the rest of the park, how the idea came about. Many mentioned the challenging climate, and we tried to preserve as much as possible, and we focused on the natural part, so that the clearing that is generated by the flooding of the main lake, we try to use it to the maximum. The most difficult thing was to identify what would grow in this park, because this is a landscape park, and we decided that it would be lichen that grows well in these conditions, and aquatic plants. that because they can withstand low temperatures. And this is how we created the nucleus of this area, and we brought together the diversity of the Arctic nature in the center of the park. And we also wanted to add some identity so that it could be recognizable, so that to make this place attractive for the locals, and create some bright image. And that's how we came about this idea with the encircling pathway, uh, because it's not only there for style, it also has a function, because we are aware that there's polar day and polar night. And so this path is made of cylinders of different heights and with inbuilt lighting. So in any weather, when there is much snow, there is a way that is lit up at any time of the year, including during the polar night. And it's a place of attraction, some bright spot. These are our main ideas in creating this concept. It was very interesting to work with Arctic nature, and it was a challenging task, but we tried to do our best and create a bright spot, so, to make people aware of what grows around them and how it functions, and include a wide variety of plants. And also in the center we have a certain like geoplastic arrangements to limit the flooding. So we've created bridges and laid down certain paths. That is it that I wanted to say. Thank you very much, Yelena. Are there any questions to Yelena? Thank you. And now let us finally move on to the very first place in the professional category. So the winner is Valery Vasiliev, V2 Architects from St. Petersburg. Valery has been able to come to us in person.
Hello. The approach was laconic, and my presentation will be the same. I will just tell about the peculiarities, the restrictions that I saw. And the contest territory is a link between the north and south of the city, and also it's a sporting area. It's a very popular place, important to the whole city. This area is a depression surrounded by hills, but it's not fully protected from northern and southern winds. The park is crossed by several utility networks, underground and overhead. These networks need to be maintained. That's why there are technical areas, and high voltage is a protected area. The brook across the area also forms a lake, and some area is not accessible, but this park is very popular, and the main ambitions and expectations from Murmansk people were to arrange place for strolling and recreation, to have some nice place and keeping this nature. And we needed to rearrange and improve the walking paths, and ensure access to hospitals and transport, and also make it comfortable at any time of year. And thirdly, to emphasize the nature of this place. And we started developing of the concept, considering the accessibility of the transport, municipal transport, and the project takes into account all walking paths. We had to abandon complex forms and sudden drops, because the snowfalls are abundant and it can cause problems. The terrain can be used for good observation platforms and network of paths, and this minimizes soil works and makes the work cheaper. and the alternation of the paths elevation makes it a special scenario for the walk. The general zoning was defined by the terrain in the west and east. The area is protected from wind, and the green massive protects the area from the roads. The area of vegetation and the valley in the central part offers a good, comfortable recreation area. The high voltage is the technical zone. It's available for technical maintenance. More details about zoning in the southeast, southwest. There is an area for festivities, various thematic events of the town scale. For example, in summer, it can be concerts and festivals. In winter, Christmas fairies. In the west, a children's area with playing grounds, again, thanks to a protected area from wind and greenery with benches. In There is a slope for riding in winter. In the eastern part, again, according to the desires of the people, special area for walking dogs. Next is a sporting area. In winter, it can be a skating rink, and for adventure sports, there is eastern part. Access to water is arranged through a curved promenade area with the typical northern vegetation. So people can admire the vegetation and have some recreation area next to water. Paths arranged nice, cozy, isolated places for recreation. Typical place is the ring promenade area, 200 meters, and it becomes a recognizable symbol of the park. And by that, the project meets the requirements and expectations of the Northerners. In conclusion, I would like to thank the organizers, the government, Performance Region and Center of Region Development for this opportunity and also for high appraisal of our effort. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Any questions to Valery? Yes, if you can. Can you tell we are among the winning projects? You can see that this is the minor intrusion. So you did not use any kiosks. Is that purposeful? Yes, it is purposeful because any commerce easier to bring rather than to keep quiet recreational zone. That's why that was our intention, not to build anything in this area. Also, a few words about the winter scenario. We understand that winter is a serious challenge for the Arctic improvements of the city. In winter, apart from the big area of the local events, also there can be a Christmas trade show. Also, there is an area for children. And in the sporting venue, a skating rink can be made because I understand that the lake itself is not always safely covered with ice. That's why I put this skating rink at a distance. Also, there are workout areas and strolling areas and things like that. Thanks a lot for prize giving of the international contest. We invite here Andrei and Oleg.
as I already said, I already spoke about the number of participants. It's been the entire world, basically. And I would like to thank the participants who are with us today, despite it being a deep night where they are. We looked at this area many times. I visited many times, and I saw so that this unique nature area was preserved basically in the center of the city. So you have a small lake, you have ducks, you have mothers with baby strollers. They're trying to they're walking there, and there are people who are trying to engage in sports and runs. And there was a big discussion about what we should do there. And I've looked at the ideas that we had, and I will tell you frankly, without intervening into the work of the jury, I can say that from a very simple and a very thought after improvement that Valery proposed to the greenhouses that were proposed that took the second place. It's also a very interesting solution which we will implement at some other area one way or another. Because there were dreams of Soviet architects, because we studied what kind of ideas they had in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. There were different designs, different projects with an idea to make those enclosed, I wouldn't say Arctic cities, but enclosed areas of Arctic cities. These are also very interesting ideas that people tried. So people in the Soviet times tried to adjust the northern climate and make Arctic cities more livable for the people. And I believe that this competition has been a success, and it's good that it wasn't the bureaucrats who took the decision, who decided the winner. I would like to thank the jury very much, and also all participants, because in any case, it was of principal importance for us to have a multitude of ideas, and I invite all participants to cooperation. I think we will find a format for that. We are developing our Center for Urban Development so that any interested architect participate in projects throughout the Murmansk region, not just in the city of Murmansk. And we will, of course, continue running international competitions for design of areas. And our nearest task is the central square of the city, the Five Corners Square, and everyone is invited to participate. And I think for any architect, it's of paramount importance to implement their project, and I would and ask our Ministry of Town Building and the Center of Urban Development to organize the work on the design, so that they can develop a design and a budget and the timeline, a realistic timeline for the implementation of this project. The main task, we have to make sure that when we have a competition, we should see the results implemented, so that they shouldn't be shelved. So, and next to this area, we also have a sports area that is also very popular with the local inhabitants. Of course, we cannot give you any specific thorough calculation. We need to understand what the costs are, but we're sure that this project will be implemented. And so I instruct you to organize this work together with Valery. And once again, thanks very much to all the participants and the architects that are attracted by the architect. Thank you very much, Andrei Vladimirovich. We thank everyone who has participated in this competition. And now I pass on the microphone to Tatiana Shurkova. First of all, I would like to thank our governor, Andrei Vladimirovich Chibis. We also have architects from the entire country. We have architects from Moscow. We have representatives of this is Vitaly Troshin, a renowned architect who worked in Vorkuta, and we have also colleagues from Crimea. We have a very serious discussion concerning urbanism in the Arctic. And I would like, maybe now I should call for a break so that they can make their presentations ready. We should have a small break to get ready for the next session, but also have a small gift for you, small present. So this is a book and a leaflet. So we'll just now break for a few minutes and then we continue our discussion. But before we break up, so we have the entire world on the line. And I would like to say that even though that because of the pandemic, we are now unfortunately used to working remotely, but this remote work and the pandemic cannot divide us. So I suggest we make a group photo with the participants of the competition. When we launched this idea of comfortable urban environment several years ago, there were very many discussions, there were many concerns of whether this should be a top-down approach or this should be a local issue. And now I can see young people here who are very active, and it's great that this project, the project of creating another environment for life, is taking place despite any pushes from outside. Now, thank you very much for your creativity.